What's up, everyone? Welcome to Keep, Watch, Pass, your special subscriber-only content right here on Spotify or wherever you are listening to this here. I'm Jason. Joining me is my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks. I'm excited. I'm ready.
If anyone's going to be excited for this episode, it's going to be you, because we are about to play Keep, Watch, Pass with movies directed by Quentin Tarantino.
I think Jay was actually contractually obligated to go with Quentin Tarantino for the first episode.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. Like we save special things for special moments in our shows. Of course, when we were doing episode 50 of It's Not That Bad, we saved Repo the Genetic Opera for that one because, you know, special moments mean special things. And when we did the first episode of There Can Only Be One, we had to start with Anthrax. There was no question here.
Every episode is special, though.
Right? Well,
make it so.
Well, yes and yes. But I mean, we've mentioned on It's Not That Bad on numerous occasions how much of a Quentin Tarantino fan that you are. But I don't think our listeners have quite understand the grasp or the breadth of your Quentin Tarantino fandom here. So for our listeners, what is it about Tarantino that strikes a chord with you?
Oh my God. You know what? Brilliantly written, directed, the non-linear storytelling, the just absurdity of the situations. And yes, okay, you can look at it like, well, they could be violent, gory, if you will, movies. They're not like, I'm not a psycho. I had to say that in one of the other episodes. I just really enjoy a really great gangster, bloody, shoot 'em up, Reservoir Dogs style. Like they're just damn cool. Mm-hmm. You get to suspend any sort of law-abiding citizen mindset and just enjoy. I mean, the classics like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, True Romance, Once Upon a Time in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico was Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, but you know what? The team of Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, A Band Apart, their production company that they've built up, all the movies that they've done, the Grindhouse movies, and these are not my picks. Okay, so I can talk about these other movies, but I love, in essence, that Quentin Tarantino is like such a film geek. He's such a film buff, and I think he has a podcast that he just talks about random obscure movies, and he is just so knowledgeable. He's the kind of person that I would love to. You know how you have that question, a celebrity that you'd like to invite over for dinner. Right. He is the quintessential dinner guest. Quentin, there's a spot at the table open for you anytime. You're in town. Give me a call.
I can just imagine what Quentin Tarantino would be like on this podcast.
Oh my God.
Right?
I would love it.
Okay, so let us explain what is happening with this show. We are about to go through Quentin Tarantino's directorial filmography. We're not talking about movies that he has produced. We are not talking about movies that he was only a writer for. And we are not talking about movies where he was only an actor in. We are specifically talking about movies that he is a director of. We are going to pick 3 movies, one to keep, one to watch, and one to pass. And what that means is the keep movie is the one that you hold up the DVD and go, oh, like that. That is the pinnacle, right? The watch movie is one that you would take the DVD, put it into the DVD player and happily watch it. Or if it's on TV, you wouldn't change the channel. The pass movie is one where not necessarily you would throw it in the garbage, but you would definitely change the channel if it was on the TV. But we're going to start with our keep film. So Carrie, movies directed by Quentin Tarantino, what are you keeping?
Can I just start by saying that his entire filmography is a keep, and in fact, my office and my collectibles of figurines, of books, of movie memorabilia, my my badass Kill Bill yellow and black tiger shoes and the Kill Bill hat to go with it. I freaking love each and every single movie that he's directed, starred in, written, you name it. You know I'm a big fan. But you also know, knowing me, that I'm a huge Elmore Leonard fan. And so my keep of Quentin Tarantino's directed movies has to be Jackie Brown, because written by Elmore Leonard, based on the novel, directed by Quentin Tarantino, starring Samuel Jackson, Pam Grier, Robert De Niro was in it. I mean, come on.
It's a stellar cast.
It is a stellar cast. Trying to think of the bail bondsman.
Oh, Robert Forster.
Yes. Oh, like at his best, I think, if I dare say. Just so fantastic. It was so well acted. It was, first of all, it's a well-written screenplay to begin with. But QT just nailed the essence of this story, all the characters, the interlocking storyline. It was brilliant. And it was literally like having the words on Elmer Leonard's novel come to life.
I could have guessed this one because, again, looking in your office, aside from the Quentin Tarantino pantheon of paraphernalia that you have in there, how's that for alliteration,
Nice.
Right? But you literally have, and I'm not even kidding, dear listeners, like every single book that Elmore Leonard has written currently sits in Carrie's bookshelf in her office.
I had to buy more bookshelves.
Like, it's like, I'm not even lying when I say that you would walk into that room and lose yourself in her fandom. It's a tad extravagant, but I'm all here for it. So at this point, I'm going to shield myself with the microphone boom arm in front of me when I say that Jackie Brown is my past movie.
I don't even know you. That's it. I quit. I'm out.
I am so sorry. No, I'm not sorry. And hear me out on this one here, okay? So I think it's fair to say that Quentin Tarantino movies are a genre. You have to. I wish this was a video podcast.
Holy shit.
You have to see the look on Carrie's face.
I can't.
Like,
I can't even hear this.
Right? Like, jump scares wouldn't even create this kind of reaction. Like, she's almost about to tear up because I said I was going to pass on Jackie Brown, but let me explain why. Quentin Tarantino films are a genre unto themselves. And the very first thing that most people will say when they say, why do you like a Tarantino film? It's the dialogue. Tarantino has a way of writing words, and the cast that he puts in there, it's not script, it's lyrics in a Tarantino song. The problem with Jackie Brown is that he didn't write it. And I think that maybe it's just me. Maybe it handicapped him. Tarantino himself has admitted that he is an Elmore Leonard fan. And rightfully so, Elmore Leonard is a great novelist. But I wonder if there was some kind of, for lack of a better term, trepidation. If you're creating a version of something created by somebody that you love, that you admire, there has to be some kind of worry about making sure that looks and sounds the way it affects you. But it's not Tarantino's words. It's not his script. It's not his story. And it didn't hit me the way that his original material hits me. So
I'm thinking about hitting you right now.
Wow. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Duck.
Goose.
Oh man, oh man. Okay, so that's my pass and also your keep. But if I'm listing my keep movie, she's still tearing up. There's a tear here. Oh my, we're going to need like podcasters counseling after this. My keep movie, however, is a movie that was split up into two parts. And it's the first part that stick with me. Kill Bill Volume 1 is my keeper movie. I personally think Volume 1 of the two films is the superior Kill Bill film. And while Volume 2 did showcase a bit more of the Tarantino-esque dialogue, because I know that was one of the criticisms of Volume 1, but I think those criticisms are null and void. I think the dialogue is definitely there. It is a Tarantino film. But I appreciated the diverse styles that Tarantino brought. The anime sequence of Oren's early story, like that is just cinematic beauty, and it took Tarantino out of his realm a little bit, out of his comfort zone, and I think he excelled in it. The sword fight between the bride and the crazy 88s is gory as hell, even though it's in black and white, and obviously there's a reason why they went to black and white, because I think if they had shot it in color, it probably would have been maybe probably given an NC-17 rating because of just how much blood spurt was around. But the minute you go black and white, for some reason that makes it better. WWE used to do that with their with their recaps. If a wrestler bled out quite well, Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, when they would do the recaps, they would put those scenes in black and white to bypass any censors. I think this is kind of that same theory, but it worked well as a style. But now we move on to our watch film. And as much as I like this film, I have a critique of the film, but it doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the film. And we go with his most recent one, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, as my watch film. It's a great film. Leo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, like Margot Robbie, solid cast. My critique of the film is that I'm a video editor. It's my job to make things cut to time. I could probably lose about 20 to 30 minutes of this film and make it a bit of a tighter package. But, this is just me nitpicking here. But that's my watch movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What's yours? What's your watch movie?
I have to admit, I was looking at that one, and although I really wanted to pick it, I think I'm going to go back to where it all started. I'm gonna go with Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Pulp Fiction because you know what? That movie is iconic. And if it comes on TV, doesn't matter what I've got going on, cancel my plans. Cancel like for the next 2 hours, I'm on the couch watching. It's brilliant. Just again, the nonlinear storytelling, the acting, the dialogue. Just how these interconnected stories are played out. And I mean, let's be honest, right? You've got John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson. Like, they're just iconic characters as Jules and Vince. So, yeah, you got to go with it.
I find it funny that in the MCU, on Nick Fury's various gravestones that he has placed around the world, it's Ezekiel 25:17 that's actually listed on the tombstone itself. Pulp Fiction is great. It's absolutely great. And one of the key things is that this is one of those movies that really is, a pinnacle when it comes to the idea of the 90s movie soundtrack. Because let's be honest, like movies today, the soundtrack is not a thing except in certain cases. Like a James Gunn directed film is going to have a very iconic soundtrack. And you can almost probably thank Quentin Tarantino for that trend because the music really was an aspect of the storytelling. I think it's safe to say that Pulp Fiction is the best Quentin Tarantino movie soundtrack of all time.
Oh, I don't know. Reservoir Dogs was so incredibly good. And it's funny because as soon as you said Kill Bill, I just wanted to go, bah, bah, bah.
Right.
Again, his selection of music, the music is indeed a character in the movie.
Oh, absolutely. Even with a movie like Four Rooms, the Combustible Edison soundtrack on that is a character unto itself. I love that soundtrack. I absolutely love that sound. But I think when you're taking a look at Billboard success and albums that are define the zeitgeist, I think Pulp Fiction, especially with Urge Overkill's cover of Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon, is, that in itself is almost a flag that says, hey, this was this year. This was this moment in music history. So now we know what my pass is, and I'm probably going to be running for my life after we finish recording this episode. So
I'm over it.
It goes to you. What is your pass movie?
My pass was, it was so tough, but I stand behind picking Inglourious Bastards. I can't get behind that movie at all. I find it really hard to watch. And as much as I love Tarantino movies, I can't. It is so unlikable from start to finish. And I'm sure it was intended that way, but I gotta say, I own a copy only because, I own
Tarantino, yeah.
like the everything that's ever been released, both in VHS and Blu-ray and DVD, soundtracks, you name it, we've got it. But I think it's still in the wrapper. I do. I'm sorry. It's tough.
There are moments in the film that I think really shine out, and especially again considering everything that almost defines a Tarantino film. There's the scene where the Nazi soldier is at the guy's place and he's sitting down and having a glass of milk, and there's people hiding under the boards. That's a tense scene, and it's played for utter suspense, and you find yourself, and I think maybe that's why it doesn't resonate with you. It's an intense film.
It's hard to watch.
It's not a gory film, but it's an intense film. Like you can sit there and point to the sword fight between the bride and the crazy 88s, but it's so over the top, and it's played for the shock value, but it's not tense. It's not intense.
I think there's a difference when you watch a movie and as violent and as gory as it is, you know that it's just a movie. Mm-hmm. But Inglourious Bastards just seems like it was
a little too real.
A little too real, yeah. It was like a page taken from history, and I'm just like, I'm not about that. I don't know. It did not.
It's like a
resonate.
page taken from history, but not necessarily of history. Like again, similar to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's a moment of time. It's a snapshot of a real moment, but then the story is slightly changed, so you don't have to relive those horrible moments, right?
But even in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they never showed the absolute.
The horror of the Manson family killings.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they alluded to it.
But it was almost like an alternate history because, again, the Manson family, instead of going to the house of Margot Robbie's character, they end up at the other house and flambéed and eaten and the whole earth. Yeah.
I freaking love that dog. That dog stole the movie. Sorry, Brad Pitt.
But that
step aside.
That scene takes what would have been normally a horrific moment, and you go, "Oh dear God, everything is happening in this," and it becomes almost comedically violent to a way.
And there's the thing is with Quentin Tarantino movies, sure, they can be quite violent. I mean, Reservoir Dogs, dude gets his ear cut off. Like
after the dance scene.
Yeah, but that's the thing. There's the caveat is that there was a dance scene, and then Michael Madsen picks up the ear and goes, "Hello, can you hear me?" like, come on, but it's so almost over the top, and then followed by a comedic moment or something that you wind up laughing. You shouldn't be laughing. Like, what is wrong with me? Why am I laughing at that? But again, it's that mix, right? It's that emotional roller coaster that takes you on the up right after seeing something that's pretty low. And it's like, okay, but yeah, again, Inglourious Bastards, definitely a pass for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it though. I do. It is a very, at moments, intense film.
Can I just say though, I had a 50-50 split on this.
What was the other one?
I almost went with Django Unchained. Because I couldn't get behind that one either.
Yeah. I mean, we're not saying that, every actor, every movie, every director kind of thing is going to be perfect, but it's one of those things where, yes, early Tarantino is probably the better Tarantino. And of course, we are coming up to hopefully his, the release of his final movie, the Movie Critic, whenever that actually gets made, of course, with the writer's strike and the actor's strike. It may be a while before we get that, but it's going to be bittersweet when that movie comes out, knowing that it will probably be his last film.
He's also got a series he's working on, though.
Okay, so we're not done with Tarantino yet. And
no, there's more.
That's a good thing, because the more Tarantino, the better. Before we go, Carrie, let's go through our Keep, Watch, Pass. So what's on your list?
Okay, well, I'm keeping Jackie Brown. We'll see if I'm keeping you on the radar, but I'm keeping Jackie Brown. I'm kidding. There's love there. There's love.
She was going to lovingly boot my ass out the door.
Yeah. Okay, so keeping Jackie Brown, watching Pulp Fiction, and I am passing on Django Unchained and Inglourious Bastards.
Well, you picked Inglourious Bastards, but
passing on Inglourious Bastards, and Django is a throw-in.
Okay, so I am keeping Kill Bill Volume 1. I am watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I am ducking for my life as I pass on Jackie Brown. Carrie, thank you so much for joining in on this. And to our listeners, if you are actually listening to us, that means you are subscribed to our content. We thank you ever so much for listening to this, and we really hope that you are enjoying these episodes. Let us know in the Spotify comments if there's a subject that you would like us to cover. Hit us up. We want to hear from you guys. Until next time, Carrie, thank you as always, listeners. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this one. This is Keep, Watch, Pass. Until next time, take care, everyone.
Hey folks, Stefan Shirazi and Renee Richardson here from the Metallica Report.
And we are proud members of the Pantheon podcast family, where the best of music and podcasts unite.
We've got something pretty cool for you. We're giving away an exclusive Metallica merch package worth over $250.
That's a whole lot of Scary Guys, Skulls, M72, and other sought-after Metallica swag. And we've made it easy for you to win. Follow and share the Metallica Report, and you're in the game. Go to pantheonpodcast.com/Metallica, enter your email, and hit that button to be entered to win.
And just like that, you're eligible for our monthly exclusive Metallica merch package.
And guess what, rockers? You can enter every month, so just do it. And while we love our global brothers and sisters, the lawyers won't let us ship outside the U.S.